IVM.
Sports are the most important thing in the world, especially if your shirt cannot be cleaned. But in the meantime, if it can, turn to the Fan Garage, also known as FG. Say it together quickly with me. Fug. Fan Garage. All that you want to know about sports, especially cricket and football. Is there another sport? Check out new episodes on our IVM podcast apps. Happy listening, mother and fathers. Alright, please note that the language and ideas presented on the show might not be suitable for everyone. If you're under 18, make sure your mom isn't around. If you're over 80, why is your mom around?
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Yes, it's December in Mumbai, or all over the world at the same time, and it's time for the three wise men on Cock and Bull. But we're joined today by an even wiser woman, that's Sharanya. Cock and Bull coming up.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
Okay, I've decided that as Indians, we have to come together once a month and stay in somebody else's family. Because what happens is that you spend too much time, this whole family culture in India has reached a point where you just have too much family issues, spend too much time doing family things, and just trying to respect your own family, a whole month goes through it. So to appreciate your family, try and be with somebody else's family for a few days. This is my humble request to the government. If you can just arrange that one weekend per month, we stay with somebody else's family. Then we'll understand what it's like to truly be Indian. It's called Cyrus Says.
And that's what Cyrus Says.
All right, Cock and Bull time. Very popular show.
Yeah.
Not Cock and Bull, but I wanted to talk about a very popular show. I Love Lucy when I was growing up. Lovely show. A woman in black and white, didn't do makeup, looked beautiful.
Can I just say, though, Cock and Bull is actually turning out to be really popular too. People are really enjoying this.
I was going to say that, but I felt it was too much to actually say it myself.
Okay. I can say it.
Yeah, you can.
I can say it.
And in fact, if you can just fudge the figures and say 5 million people tune in, I think who's going to not believe
Wow,
it?
who told you 5 million people tune in? It was more like 7.5.
7.5 million people tune in. That's what Mumbai's Mumbai West. Not much, but you start somewhere. Okay, we've got Kunal Vijaykar in the house.
I was waiting for you to introduce me formally.
Dr. Kunal Vijaykar, just like Dr. Vijay Mallya or Dr. Lata Mangeshkar, he has a doctorate, but do not go to him for treatment, whatever happens. Sharanya, I have a secret about you which I can't say because Amit gets really upset. I'll tell the world about that later. And Amit Doshi, who I like to call proprietor.
Proprietor.
Yeah. But a man who's more cynical than Kunal, and Kunal is very cynical. Sharanya, you're not that cynical actually.
No. I still have youth left.
Yeah, you still have some belief. Your idealism has not faded completely.
No, I'm not cynical either. Honestly, I'm an extremely positive
Kunal, I would
person.
use the word disgusting, but it's wrong. It's wrong to use the word disgusting.
I don't think any of us think we're cynical. Even I don't think I'm cynical.
Why would you feel cynical?
By the way, people can't see
so much positivity.
People can't see.
Exactly.
Amit and Kunal are smiling at each other like blushing brides. They're so happy with themselves. Oh, I'm so positive. Yeah, my foot. Only positive when it comes to blood group. Let's go.
All right.
Where?
First topic we should get into is the match in Delhi.
The third test match at the Firoz Shah Court.
So, I mean, like, good things too. I mean, like, Kohli did, like, some crazy shit over there.
So, 243 against the world's greatest attack, Sri Lanka, on the flattest wicket ever. I mean, he's going to be so proud. I'll never forget that one. But if you look at it from conditions of cricket, how cricket has changed over the years, Kunal, you hate sports, so don't talk.
I don't know anything about it.
I mean, the first thing you think about is pads came into vogue back in 100 years ago, then gloves, and of course he came up with the Abdi guard apparently not later. One paying attention to that, and then we have the helmet. But now India is giving them a new equipment. It's called the smog guard.
Yes.
All right, or what you see when you see a ward boy in a hospital. So today's cricketer could very well be a ward boy in a hospital. Be very careful. Yeah. But I think it's amazing how the world has changed, and now everyone's taking their pollution so seriously. Having said that, Delhi is a very polluted city.
They are not taking the pollution
But seeing 5 Sri Lankan cricketers wearing those masks and walking around like, what the hell? Come on, you're just your neighbors. You live right there.
Yeah, but see, I don't know anything about cricket, but I've been watching this argument, and there's a whole side which says that the Sri Lankan cricketers were behaving like sissies. We go into cold countries and we can perform.
Okay, no one actually used the word sissy.
That fellow, they use the word sissy.
Yeah.
Sissy is a bit mean,
No, so the sports minister said something, right? That they're going to
sports
complain.
minister.
20,000 people in the audience are fine with it, so what is Sri Lanka's problem?
But 10,000 died while watching. And the other 10,000 died of boredom. How many more runs can India make? Stop
breathing
it.
toxic air is patriotism. I don't get it.
It's not, right?
Should we stand up for toxic air? That's something for Parliament.
Yeah, no,
stand up for toxic air. You see toxic air, we stand up. Forget the anthem, stand up for toxic air.
We'll be standing constantly.
Again, to take his point further, I'm just saying, they're also a third world country. I love Sri Lanka, it's a lovely place. But really, you come from the same part of the world. It's not, I know they're a lot cleaner than us.
Yeah,
No. It is the cleanest air in South Asia.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
And dude,
the cleanest air in South Asia.
He's jumped on my throat.
Delhi is 12
Delhi
times
air
worse than the
other part of
WHO
India.
report.
There's
That's
nobody
crazy.
in the whole world who would rather stay in Delhi against Sri Lanka, including all the Delhiites, given a choice. No, your argument is perfect. I'm just saying, have a little empathy for the same part of the world where we have these pollution issues and things like that.
Don't wear a match in Delhi.
Wearing the mask was a little overdone. You're not a surgeon, really.
But they have to run and stuff.
There was no surgical strike at Kotla.
I went to Delhi a couple of weeks ago. Everybody before I went told me
Is that how you lost your hair?
No, my hair that's old
That was
story.
Haryana.
Okay. But I went a couple of weeks ago, and when I went there, before I went, everybody was like, take masks with you. Make sure you take a mask with you. You'll come back sick. So, people do kind of...
No, you're absolutely right. Considering that half of Delhi was walking around in a mask.
No kidding.
Just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So if the Sri Lankans wear masks, what's wrong? The Delhiites were wearing masks, man.
And they're playing
The
a
guy's
sport.
fielding it forward short, like with a helmet on top and a mask underneath. It's hilarious. It's taking sport to another level.
Was that bowler, the Suranga Lakmal, who threw up on the field because he's bowling, he has to run and stuff.
That's
And he's
a different
breathing
issue.
awful air.
That's not necessarily because of the air.
That was butter chicken.
Undercooked meat. These things can happen.
But
Speaking of undercooked, let's move on to
let's
something
move on
else.
to something else. We want to talk about yesterday's cyclone.
Well, yes, not just yesterday. It was 5-6 days in the making.
Yes.
It's almost like a production by Harvey Weinstein, I dare say. Caused a lot of disaster. But here's the thing. We're talking Mumbai. We're all four from Mumbai, born and bred. We'll die in traffic. First, they get it. I think the weather department and the government sort of panics in two ways. Either they don't give the information properly or accurately, and then they go conservative and they decide to give you more information and more fear than there is. So we cancelled everything. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Nothing
really happened.
really happened. And the water level never went out of control.
But do we not think that in and of itself is a disaster?
Amit, I want to know, why can't you give me
everything down
give us an
yesterday?
accurate, that's all I'm saying, look, you have all the meteorological systems in place, satellites in place, you have all the experts in the world, you talk to all the best countries in the world, you exchange information all the time, and we are second to none in IT. So what the hell is happening?
We are second to none in WhatsApp forwards. The amount of shit I got yesterday, man.
I think the Indian Meteorological
We'll come to
Department...
That's a good point.
Indian Meteorological Department has to shut down. All they need is one computer and a link to the BBC weather. And they will get accurate weather,
And they can keep one announcer there with an Indian accent so that the government doesn't feel that, we've gone and sold out to the Westerners making the money. So we just have one guy going,
But one good thing happened with the cyclone is that all campaigning in Gujarat stopped. Amit Shah went back to Delhi. Rahul Gandhi went back to Delhi. Everybody went back to Delhi. They just stopped campaigning for 3 days.
They were worried.
I don't know. They were worried.
Not about the opposition, but about God.
And then the cyclone...
I don't like Indian politics. Boom.
and the cyclone then misses Gujarat and walks away somewhere. Brilliant.
So man has to realize there is someone controlling the panel somewhere. Come back to the WhatsApp group for a second. We are the world's #1 myth providers now.
Yeah.
There's nobody who beat Indians, right? And take us to what you remember.
Yesterday I got a message saying C-Link is shut, Pedder Road is shut, SV Road is shut. This is all 3 minutes after I reach office,
But
and I've gone through
Navi Mumbai is
all three
open.
of these places. I've been through all 3 of these places. I went to
And
the
they're all
C-Link-
open.
and they're all open.
But Amit, the best part is how fast this accurate information seeps through.
I got this from 2 different people.
There you go. And it's group after group after group.
Yeah.
So now 1 million people think C-Link is shut.
Yeah.
So Bugger comes all the way to C-Link.
Yeah.
Then you check it. He turns the car around. And he goes off somewhere. Oh, I love it.
So it's ridiculous that that people are disseminating crappy information like this. But who the hell thinks that this is a smart thing to do?
I've made it into my thing to do. I tell everybody, do not believe WhatsApp.
Yeah,
I'm
same here.
actually going around telling people, oh, so and so. Now, Cyrus, you got to.
But what if WhatsApp says your wife's having an affair, for example?
Don't believe it.
Don't believe it.
Don't believe it.
What the hell? I'm filing. I was about to file. Where's the files? I was about to file.
But I'll give you an absolute instance which is close to your heart. You've got a function coming up in the family, and there is a Parsi caterer, renowned Parsi caterer who's catering for your function. There was a WhatsApp 3 days ago saying she's seriously ill. And nothing, seriously ill. So the Parsi community went berserk saying that they've got one caterer.
Also
What kind of mini panic is this? Like one caterer?
One less Parsi is 20%. Can't take a chance with those demographics.
One caterer called Talas Godiwala, seriously ill, is what the WhatsApp said.
She was the most famous, one of the most famous caterers in the country, not just Parsi.
I've heard the name, yeah.
And she was cooking away, and nothing was wrong with her.
So who's cooking up these stories to take it
who's
further?
making these things?
That's what I want to understand. Like this weather report that came out yesterday, right? what kind of shits and giggles really amuse you that you would
Yeah.
kind of
Remember,
put
there
this
was
shit
a
on,
year
right?
back, there was a
Nothing
Shah
funny
Rukh
about
Khan. They got Shah Rukh Khan is in serious thing and
Yeah.
he may pass away and this and that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really
They
scary.
have killed Johnny Lever
Three
about
times.
18 times.
I've seen Johnny Lever's
Okay?
dead
One
so
of the
many
nicest,
times.
one of the nicest guys there is.
But
Absolutely.
I've seen death notifications of Johnny Lever so many times it's not even funny.
Why?
I would do it myself just to check how many people care. I understand. If I would do it myself, like Cyrus Broach, you're dead. Oh, yeah! Wow! So, just check it out.
That's a good idea.
Good idea. Let's do it right now.
So self-validation.
All right. We can move on to troops told to format smartphones and delete 42 apps after Chinese spyware threat. Nobody cares.
What?
Go slow.
The troops
The
as an
troops have
Indian
been asked to
army.
die.
The Indian army were asked to delete
Delete?
42 specific apps because of threats of Chinese spyware. So China is making a lot
What are
of...
the apps that like how to cook in cold weather? And all you need that
The
shit.
ones they
There,
need.
there are all kinds of things. Even things like WeChat and stuff like that, right? There are a lot of
So what
concerns that...
Mr. IT explain it to us. The Chinese can spy through these apps.
Yeah,
what are you trying to say?
the thing-
Explain how, please.
Okay, so China business and government is very interlinked, right? I mean, like it's not really a very separated thing. Now, what happens is that there are a lot of Chinese companies and a lot of Chinese apps that have gotten really, really popular. After Tencent makes a bunch of different things. There are a lot of different game apps and stuff like that. Now, there is a consistent and persistent problem happening where data that is on your phones is going back to China. And for no reason
What
whatsoever.
data?
All kinds of data.
Oh, your
Location
telephone
data.
numbers, your emails,
All kinds
whatever.
What will they do with my telephone number?
But the
Not
troops
your
emails.
telephone number, your entire contact list. See, the thing
So
is
what you're
that-
saying is the Aadhaar card information is now with China? Call the Prime Minister.
could be.
This has gone out of control.
I'm pretty sure they had it the
Wait,
first
what
day,
about
yeah.
that one guy operator in some in some bank or something? But now it's like the Chinese have it. All our Aadhaar cards are in Chinese.
But should our soldiers who are in sensitive areas be connected to the internet in the first place?
They're connected to the internet, yes, but there needs to be restricted connectivity, right? You can be, they actually should not be downloading
Mr.
Chinese
Vijay,
apps.
what do you
and
mean
putting
should they
it
be
on.
connected? They should
What do
not
they
have a
have to
life.
talk? What do they have to talk to their
In this
family
day
and
and age,
stuff?
there is
And
censorship,
play
yes.
games.
You want to give them Akashwani and you're Biraka hit parade top 10 hits?
No,
songs of
all
Meena Kumari.
all communication in sensitive areas has to be controlled.
Yeah.
You cannot just have everybody. But
Look at the way you sit here
people start
pontificating
posting
in your
pictures of,
air-conditioned
oh,
house
I'm
in
at the
Mumbai.
border.
Hey, look at you. The poor guys are sitting there with nothing to do. Because let's face it, 90% of the time you have nothing to do. And then you want to take it with the internet.
No, so it depends on what you're doing, where you are, what is all, you know, I mean, like, but there needs to be
Amit,
policy.
those
they
around
can't
it.
play
months and months in a
No, but I
boring
mean, like, if
place.
you're-
Cyrus, you are behaving like everybody on that channel, okay?
Someone has to behave like that.
Everybody,
Somebody has to
we
represent-
are country and the
Somebody has to represent the channel. Somebody has to care. That man is getting no support from you. And he cares. He cares about people on the right, right or center.
And very, very right.
Yeah. But it really is something that I think that they do need to do. There needs to be, if you're in army, right? If you're in the army and if you're posted at the border or any of these areas, there needs to be a whitelist of apps that you're allowed to use, and there's other stuff that you're not. And I mean, like, you should be able to.
Sharanya uses words like whitelist of
Whitelist.
apps and all. What do we do? This
Whitelist.
American comes here and takes over. I don't even know what he's talking about. I mean, we need an app to understand him.
Okay, all right. I don't think that there is more that I can say.
I think the discussion is over.
I think
Ever
so
since
as well.
Kunal called me a jingoistic right-wing English television commentator supporter, then that's it for me.
All right, cool. I think the next thing we should talk about is this new documentary that came out by Hari Kondabalu called
who?
Hari Kondabalu.
Okay.
American comedian of Indian descent.
That's what you get out of it? Make fun? That's what you get out of it?
But I don't know
Immature
who he
man.
is.
No, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Jingoistic my foot.
So he made a documentary called The Problem with Apu, which is based on the Simpsons character Apu and how it is problematic just generally in terms of representation,
Stereotyping.
stuff like
Yeah.
that.
He runs a quickie mart.
Yeah, he
but
does
we're not so far away from a lot of Indians. Hello?
No, the accent's terrible, man.
The accent's terrible,
Yeah,
but that's okay.
but
It's a
come
piece of
on.
comedy.
No.
But it's been many years
so-
and there's been no change in it.
Huh?
Like, it's been many, many years. It's a stereotype when it
I
started.
don't get offended.
But that's because you're sitting over here. You're not somebody who has dealt with the fact that people will call.
Do you know they've done to Parsis in Hindi films for the last 40 years till John Abraham destroyed it on his own?
No, I have a big problem with that as well. I really do. I really have a problem with how representation
Come
is.
on. No, yeah. Listen. No, we have to differentiate between taking ourselves too seriously, getting offended at
Amit, you're
small
becoming
things.
more and more Valkeshwar.
This is ridiculous.
We are losing you.
No,
We are losing
It's
you.
not a question
Like
of
if
that.
you look at this whole politically correct nonsense, if you look at a television series like Mind Your Language,
Right.
which is
Oh my
still
God.
terribly funny.
So
It will
bigoted.
never be able to
Yeah,
run
but see,
together
that
because
was
we
that
have built
time.
in so
Housing
many of these
apologies.
things.
In
But we're
Housing
not in
apologies.
that. We're not in that year
1970s,
anymore.
I can still laugh at it. Why? But why do sensitivity has to change? Why have we
Sensitivities
become?
do
No,
change.
but why have we become more and
Because-
more sensitive? We should be
because there
going more and more open.
No, you're more and more open, yes, but at the same
Because
time...
there are Indians who will walk out of their house and have people use this accent against them,
I've
like as a
had that
joke.
happen
It's a
to me.
mocking thing.
I've had that happen
Because
to
that
me.
accent is so
I'm in
stereotypical.
college, and I keep getting this, thank you, come again. I've had that happen to me.
Come on, Amit.
It's not fun,
It's not
dude.
so bad. It's come
not
on.
fun because it's not said
I have
with-
German
it's
friends.
not
People with
said-
German accents, they don't get upset. Come
It's
on.
not said in a nice way. It's said
That's
in a very
different. If
mocking
someone's
way.
trying to insult you, it's different.
It's mocking.
Don't blame the
It's
show.
mocking.
That guy's a
It's
prick. The guy who's insulting you. It's not
The
your
fellow who's
show.
doing it will. See, any good person, even if he watches The Simpsons, will not do it to you.
Yeah.
But
No,
if he's
but
an asshole, he'll do it to you.
It happens to all kinds of people. You talk to Indian people who are there in the US right now, right? I mean, like people who grew up there in the 90s and stuff like that.
So you're
This is
blaming
the-
Meera Nair's not so good cinema sometimes, not always, on the fact that she was insulted, called Apu.
No, not that. I'm not. So, do you know how many people are in this documentary? Kalpen is in it. Maulik Mancholi is in it.
They all have to say the right thing to
no,
stand
it's
by
not
the
But
race.
they're all
Right.
Indians who
They're
are
all
new
Indians who
generation
deal
Indians
with
who get
this
mocked
shit.
for. They're technically Americans. They've grown up there. They want to make it in the
And
comedy
that's actually
business,
a good-
and they are
listen.
fighting the stereotype. Is what his
I still think
documentary
it's a
says.
little bit too much what
because-
you are doing.
no, because
your
see,
reaction is slightly over, but
I know.
okay, fair enough.
I think
I'll
it's
tell you what.
right.
I'll get you guys to watch the documentary.
I
Give it a look.
But I
see
love
what
The
I love to
Simpsons,
watch.
and I've watched
I love
Apu in
The
many
Simpsons.
episodes.
I love The
Apu
Simpsons.
wins many episodes in a sense. Apu comes out on top in many episodes. His family comes out on top.
Fair enough.
It's not,
Look,
you know.
okay,
all
so-
I'm saying is that if you can't imitate an Indian, you can't imitate a Russian, you can't imitate a French person, you can't imitate a Hispanic
not
person, who do you
Texan,
imitate? Finally,
Brooklyn,
what do you do, man?
Italian accents, black accents,
accent-based
Hispanic
comedy is
accents.
over forever.
It's not
Are we
act-
saying accent-based comedy is over forever?
And then
I don't know if I would have such a big problem with
Can
that.
you go Google
I don't know
the
if I'd
accent?
have such a big problem with that.
With
the accent-based.
accent-based comedy.
Why not?
Being
But
over.
accents exist.
Accents exist, and you can use an. The accent should not be the joke. The joke
Yeah.
should be said in an accent. Over here, the accent is the joke.
Yeah.
No, that's just. It's at the surface.
No, it's not.
It's at the surface,
It's not a
Amit.
subtle
See, but
difference
you're
at all.
right. See, you're
It's
saying
not-
Apu gets to win many episodes, right?
Yeah.
He does, but what is the most defining characteristic is that he has
Thank
that
you, come
accent. That
again.
is the joke about him.
But thank you, come again.
There's nothing more to his character than the voice. That is what his problem
The comic
is.
writers who put this together observe this
And
maybe
also
think
one
this is true
other
to life to
problem
some
which is
extent.
It was
US
true
specific and doesn't
since
apply.
the
20 years ago.
15
Yeah,
seasons.
yeah.
It was true 15 years ago. The character had no change in him at all.
But why
Like he's
should
lived
he?
in America for 25 years now.
We have a lot of Indians from that generation who are very polite and
Who
try to
don't change.
be accepted in society and who kept the
They can be polite, but I'm saying, but his problem is that the character has only defined by the mocking accent. That's all there is to him.
This is my warning.
don't-
one
My
other-
warning to this
overreacts.
group. If we continue
Are
like
we
this,
so fragile?
if we
Are we so
continue
fragile
like
as a
this,
culture
You
that
are
every time
now
someone
speaking
does-
the language of the Mamta Banerjees,
Yes,
and you are now
absolutely.
speaking
I don't
the
think so
language
at
of
all.
Don't be
Joy
so
Lalitha,
fragile.
and you are now speaking the language
what do we fear?
of
Of all those religious
politicians.
right-wing people
Absolutely.
who are like, don't say that
It
it's against...
all starts like this.
It's Apu.
Okay,
He's
one-
an Indian guy. That's all there is to it.
I am not
They have
stopping
not
anybody
insulted
from
our
doing
flag.
anything. I have no power. I cannot stop anybody.
I'm
can
stopping.
express a-
We have to take a break.
I
I'm
can
stopping.
express
Stop,
an opinion.
stop.
No, you
We have to take a
can't,
break.
but people listening to you will do it.
Stop. Shh. Otherwise, we'll go on forever.
People, it's a subject that is, it's got high emotion.
Okay, then fine. We have to do another 15 minutes now.
In a world where people are busy playing Mendicoat at Diwali parties, two men decide to go all in the river.
Don't you mean on the river?
On the river.
Oh, yeah.
Two men will go where no one has ever gone before, to a studio with no air conditioning or Coke Zero to talk about poker.
Hey, order लो ना यार कोई क्या है ये बकवास?
The SpartanPoker.com presents Mera Kaam Poker, hosted by Azim Banatwala
The best comedian in the world, according to himself.
and Peter Abraham.
Not related to John.
New episodes out every Wednesday on the IBM podcast app or any other podcasting app you use. And for all our listeners who want to try out their hand at poker, you can log on to thespartanpoker.com, register yourself as a user with the promo code IVM, and you will get 200 bonus cash, which you can use to play poker for free. See you at the tables.
All right, back here on Cock and Bull, a big fight happening out here, and I'm really irritated because now Sharanya and Amit have dropped another bomb saying that the comic writers on The Simpsons want to now change it to suit our tastes.
No,
our sensitivity.
No,
Our
they're not
sensitivity.
changing it to suit our sensitivity. They're changing it because the character needs to have evolved over the
No,
years.
this is Padmavati all over again.
How?
You are telling them what to do.
It is
You are
exactly
telling the artists
Padmavati.
what to do.
How is it not Padmavati? Tell me. Explain in coherent language. How is it not Padmavati?
It is Padmavati.
Okay. All right. Representation of minorities, okay, especially when there is not excessive.
Now you sound like a
representation.
lawyer.
Well, you want me to explain it?
No,
in
let him.
cogent
He's
in
explaining.
this, right? Yeah. So I mean, like, I kind of
No, because the moment you get formal, I get worried. Don't get formal. Just tell us honestly.
All right, no, I mean, like, it really is just that the difference between something like this and something like Padmavati is that one, nobody is saying that ban this stuff, right? Even if Apu continues as is, let it continue as is. So that's number one. There's no governmental action over here. There's nothing of that nature. It's just people expressing their opinion that this particular way of characterizing Indian people, especially, okay, in the US, where for 25 years there was no other characterization of Indian people.
What about
visible.
Italian American people? I'm going to just stop you there for a second. Italian American people, black people, Hispanic
Yeah.
people, Mexican people.
Yes.
1 second. People of different small
Yes.
ethnicities because the subcultures are also there, and you have very strong Midwestern accent, or Western accent, Northern accent,
Right.
Alaskan accent.
And they're all changing.
Native
You're
American-
saying black representation hasn't changed
No,
in years?
I'm
It
saying
has-
It is changing. It's slowly
different.
evolving.
Sometimes
Somebody has to take that step, no?
You're trying to portray different people and enjoy them. If I did a show on Parsis, Gujaratis, Tamilians, Maharashtrians all put together, I would like to enjoy that. I would like to enjoy the Gujarati accent, the Tamilian accent, the Maharashtrian accent, and the Parsi
But
accent.
then
I would like to enjoy their
your
stereotypes.
Tamilian accent,
Why is it
Gujarati
malicious?
accent should be based
No,
on
why is it
reality.
malicious? I'm not going to pick on them.
Why?
I'm enjoying them.
Why?
It's different.
Somewhat based on reality.
Why?
This is.
You're now telling me what I should do
It is-
creatively.
it is
one
somewhat-
second.
it is somewhat based in reality
No,
in
it is
any
not.
case.
It is a.
They
it
do.
is-
Indians in
you
the
know what?
80s
You know what
ran-
this is, right?
Ran shops.
Hank Azaria came up with this accent as a rip-off of what Peter Sellers was doing in 1970, where that was a completely nonsensical accent. Nobody has that kind of an accent.
Yes, you're right.
But so what?
But it's still funny.
I'm still saying
but
so
then
what?
people
Birdie
are,
num num, I say. Chalo, Kunal, let's get a green card and keep going. These
Okay.
bloody right-wingers, Sharanya.
exactly. I'm a right-winger.
Call up that television channel friend of yours. He's got two more. He's got two more panelists forever. Forever.
All right. Okay. So I think
We should talk about John Oliver.
quick,
Oh yeah,
John
that's
Oliver.
right.
And
John
Johnny
Oliver
Masterson.
Singh. Yes.
So two big things that happened yesterday in the sexual harassment life that
At
we're
the time
living
of
now.
recording, yes.
So yesterday, at the time of recording, yesterday, John Oliver was on a panel of the movie Wag the Dog. It was the 20th anniversary of the movie. He was called in to interview the cast.
Moderator.
Yeah, moderate. Of course, he wasn't like, he didn't tell them what they were going to talk about because in the middle of that conversation, he brought up the Dustin Hoffman case.
But how can you not? If you're a comedian and
Yeah.
Dustin Hoffman is under the spotlight, Dustin Hoffman.
Exactly.
I mean, that's Dilip Kumar or whatever.
Because he's called on, this is a celebration of the movie,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, I mean, obviously Dustin Hoffman is not expecting it. So they bring up his sexual allegations of his misconduct against a 17-year-old girl during death of a salesman.
Sharanya, just quickly, at that point, her accusations are of oral harassment.
Yeah.
Saying words and that, also touch.
Yeah, also touch. Dustin Hoffman explains that saying they were doing multiple takes and she was sitting there, he didn't know she was 17 and we were really unhappy with the shot because it was not going well and I tried to comfort her by my touching. And she said, don't do that anymore. Yeah.
Comfort her.
Yeah. And then he gets into a massive argument on stage with John Oliver about how you weren't there, this is how we talk during sets.
But he didn't
this
comfort the men.
happens.
There's a male actor in the same scene. He didn't comfort him the same way.
Yeah, in fact, his statement that he immediately put out, that Dustin Hoffman put out was, I'm sorry I did that.
I was in my Rain Man avatar. I didn't know what I was doing.
It wasn't representative of who I am, is what he said, which is what John Oliver really took and ran with it, saying, it is a representative of who you are. You were creepy around women at that time.
Yeah.
That is who you were. Let's not pretend that that's not true anymore. It may not be true anymore, like you changed maybe.
Yeah.
But at that time, that is who you were. Don't dismiss the case. And they got into a heated
Did they
argument.
fight? Yeah. Major fight?
Absolutely. The rest of the cast was just sitting there going clearly we're not involved in this conversation.
And the Oscar goes to Oliver.
Yeah, and that's a really important thing because it's a
Bit of an Oliver twist.
It's a powerful man, talking about it on stage, confronting him.
Arguably one of the greatest actors of his generation.
Exactly.
Without any parallels.
Yeah, and just because you put out a statement doesn't mean this situation is over.
So, just because you're half man doesn't mean you're half man. He's full man, that's for sure. Anybody wants to throw in a little bit here? Pearls?
Then last night there was another. Last night as of
Sharanya,
recording.
what do you feel? Now you're the only woman on the panel.
Wait,
here.
let me get to the Danny Masterson story because that's where most of my rage lies.
Please, together.
So there's an actor called Danny Masterson who was on that show, The 70s Show.
Of course.
Many years ago. He's on a show on Netflix called The Ranch with Ashton Kutcher and Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
It's a terrible show.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. So
the moment you said Ashton Kutcher, we understood what the show was about. And
So Danny Masterson was accused of violent rape by 4 women.
What are you saying?
And he was under investigation by the LAPD. 9 months ago, the case was launched. The case was registered.
4 women.
4 women. One of them, the first one was his ex-girlfriend at that time.
Sorry, just to interrupt. So this is not out of his past. This is a
It is
recent
out,
thing.
it is out of his past. It is
Before he became a star?
No,
It's an
it
old
was in the
thing.
2000s. It was he was.
Okay,
he
anyway,
was,
that's neither here nor there. Let's just move on. Yeah.
It was after he was already an actor. He was already a star.
70 shows made him a star.
Yeah. So this was after that. These women are saying it was in the early 2000s. All of their dates are different. It's around 2000s.
Okay.
But the case was registered 9 months ago. The LAPD dropped the investigation a couple of months ago, even though there was enough evidence and the women had all come forward and there were emails and there were letters and there's an audio
Why did he
tape.
drop the case?
The assumption, I mean, this is again rumored, is that Danny Masterson is a really popular Scientologist and the Church of Scientology has stepped in and asked the district attorney to stop investigating. And Netflix had not taken any steps about this because, and you saw how fast Netflix was to react with Kevin Spacey, right?
Yeah.
They immediately fired him. So, like a week ago, one of the Netflix executives was at his daughter's soccer match, and one of the other parents came up to him and asked him, "Why aren't you doing anything about the Danny Masterson case? Why isn't Netflix doing anything?" And he said, higher ups at Netflix don't believe these women. And that woman said, "I'm one of the victims."
But to play devil's advocate. Oh.
She said, "I'm one of the victims, and I will tell you that I have registered case and I've been following up, but I'm being shut down by everybody." So obviously then there was a big, Netflix realized that this is a big PR problem and yesterday they fired him off the show. He of course still claims that it was all consensual. They fired him off the show yesterday, but he is still executive producer on that show. So he will continue to make money. As of now,
They
he's an
just
executive
don't want him
producer.
on screen because that's what people notice.
Because it's a PR thing.
Bad
So,
PR.
But why can't he go back to his own name and master some more instead of, touching women?
I don't understand why. Like, this is a thing that's become a big thing, is where companies will only do it when it attracts
It's
good
like a
PR for them.
half-hearted reaction and compromise.
I feel like it requires massive online campaigning where everybody has to write to Netflix. I also send an email to Netflix because, Netflix has that button which tell us your problems. Went to the ranch and said, "Why are you still supporting him when there are these allegations and nothing is happening about them?" Only if you do that will Netflix will companies stand up and take notice only when there is mass campaigning.
But
And
my only worry
that's
is,
unfortunate.
and again, I hate to say this because you're in a very strong mood and you might punch me, is that what if they're making up some, there's jilted lovers, there's frustrated, angry people out
So
there.
finish the trial. No, let's go to trial. Let's figure out what there is. There is evidence. It's being shut down without explanation. The LAPD is not putting out a statement saying why they shut it down. They just shut down investigation. How can you do that? How can you do that?
So then the fault lies with the LAPD to start off with.
Absolutely.
Okay, for being influenced or corruption or
Yeah.
But how
whatever.
powerful is this Scientology?
Oh, it's huge.
don't
One of the
know.
accusers is a Scientologist,
Okay.
and she said that the church literally threw her out of the. There was massive personal.
I think so. 5,
attacks
10
on her.
years
So
ago, before the last,
conspiracy, I'm
what was
scared.
that documentary that came out about Scientology? That
Leah Remini's?
The Tom Cruise
the
thing.
Clear something, Going Clear.
I don't know.
Yeah, so it was a big documentary that came out like a year or two ago about Scientology. Before that, there was a lot of power of Scientology, but with that documentary coming out, and then
Leah Remini has a show right now about.
once that
Any
stuff happened, then a
establishment
lot
which
of
has
the
a lot-
Scientology stuff has gone away.
When you
so-
have a lot to lose, any establishment, I can understand them trying to get behind. But the fact is, you get behind the person after you know what's right or wrong, right? That I presume would be the
Well,
intention.
you would think so, but I mean, so even Terry Crews has had the same problem, right?
Yeah.
So his
And
guy,
then
the politician.
No,
No,
Terry
Terry Crews, the
is the
actor.
actor, the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Really big.
Oh,
dude.
right, of course. Yeah.
He accused the WME agent Adam
Terry
Bennett.
Crews, the ex-wrestler bodybuilder.
Yeah,
Yes.
the ex-football
He's
player.
also
He's
molested
accused
somebody.
No, he
He's
was
accused-
He was
he has-
molested.
Have you seen him who molested him?
Exactly.
That thing
There's
is
a
exactly, yeah.
WME agent called Adam Bennett. He was suspended off his job and he came back a week ago. Like, he just came back to his
And
job.
he basically went up to Terry Crews in a party, groped him, like stuck his tongue in his mouth, did all kinds of crazy shit.
And this is
Have
Terry
you met
Crews.
Terry Crews?
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
But Terry
So
Crews didn't do
he's
anything
built like a
because
truck.
he was like the next day the headlines would be big black man punched a white dude. At that time.
Yeah. So, and also,
Terry Crews is not famous then.
Yeah, he's famous.
He was
is
famous.
No, when this happened-
this happened a year and a half ago.
Terry Crews is in every show at the moment.
Yeah.
He's like running on 5
So
shows.
he didn't do it for a long
But
time.
the
So this
political
guy's a
climate
really
is still
powerful
scary for
guy.
him,
He's
no?
like
He's
Adam
like-
Sandler's agent and the agent of a bunch of other people. So he's a really powerful guy. So at that time, he kind of just let it kind of go. And
It's
then when
about
all
time
the
we talk
Me Too
about
stuff
males
happened-
molesting us. I've had a few. Kunal, what do you have to say about yourself?
Nobody's molested me.
Really?
But wear makeup.
You're
Someone
lucky,
will
man.
notice you.
School,
Yeah,
man.
so I mean, they get jobs back
Dodgy
basically.
teachers in school,
I think
man.
the problem is that
I mean,
Will you let Sharanya talk while you two monkeys think it's all flipping shit? She's upset here.
I went to a good Jesuit school.
Danny Masterson is what? Hide.
yes,
Please
Hyde. He plays Steven Hyde.
Yeah, he's actually the one I like the most.
Yeah, I know he was the best character on the show.
Yeah. And he seemed the most
Yeah.
real character of the
Yeah.
lot, in many ways.
Basically, the problem is,
Perhaps too real
like
now.
even the like Louis C.K.'s agent was
Right.
fired, right?
Yeah.
He was fired from the company because there was so much online active campaigning against it. He would not have lost his job otherwise. And it's the same with Adam Bennett. He's gone back
and
to his
remember,
job.
Louis C.K., Danny Masterson, you can always come to India and restart. Because we have short memories. We have very short memories.
Unfortunately. Yeah. So basically the problem right now is that companies who should be responsible are not responsible till it really gets to it. Like
But
till there is so much public
This is bound
appeal.
to happen. This is the question of money, unfortunately.
And
money
saving
plays a
face.
huge role.
Saving
Kevin
face.
Saving
Spacey
face.
is huge, but they fired him immediately.
They must
I
have
think
realized they cannot hide behind this
No, I
particular
think
story.
everybody
Fair
knew
enough.
Kevin
You know?
Spacey has a Pandora's box.
Yeah.
That's true.
And so they said, forget it, let's not get into it. We'll go
That's
down
true.
with the ship on this one.
Correct. You can't come out winning if you support Kevin Spacey early on.
Danny Masterson was a little bit off left field, but now obviously it looks like one out of two men are guilty. So you might as well kill all men.
And the way
Kill
it's
all
going,
men.
I think the way it's going, everybody has done something to somebody at some point of time.
It's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
And if it's not
Yeah.
been done to you, then you got to look at yourself.
Lots of websites have like alphabetical lists of right now people
How many
accused,
people
and
accused?
it's a
My
lot.
God.
It's
Indians?
a lot.
Indians?
There's no Indian.
Why don't we feature? Well, what happened to Apu? Huh? No, talk about Apu. No stereotyping here. Huh? Or let's move on to AMAs. We will have very little time. So AMA is coming up right now.
Over 47% of online users in India have experienced harassment at some point. So if it's two of us inside this recording studio, chances are pretty high that one of us has faced abuse at some point. How do we tackle this? What do we need to do better? Come, let's learn together. Join me on Akanksha Against Harassment at IVM Podcast every Thursday. Let's learn how to make online a safe place together.
If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Okay, AMA time. We've just had to increase the temperature because Naveen is feeling cold. And this is why I feel Indians are not ready for war. You cannot feel cold and go and fight a war. You have to have that ability to control your body
Are we
temperature.
really at a place where we're close to fighting a war right now? Does Naveen strike
And it's
you
all
as
in the cold area.
Jawan ka Sarhad ka Jawan or whatever
Well,
that is.
if India's future is in Naveen's hands, I would be scared.
We'll fight a war in Goa now. Nice warm
We
weather.
did. We took the Portuguese inside. That was the problem. Right, what's up?
Okay, so the first question is from Durgesh. Cyrus, you've always been a motor mouth and we love you for that, even though I personally don't agree with your views on some issues. But has your talkativeness ever got you in trouble?
Yeah, well, I think at home I'm not appreciated. I'm like treated really badly. I try to talk to people. My parents ignore me. My wife is really rude. All she says is pick up the towel, and partly because I only wear a towel, and so when it falls. But all said and done, I think talkativeness. A lot of people keep telling me to shut up as a young boy growing up. I told somebody this at some event, and everybody will talk less, stop talking. We'll give you $5 to stop talking for a minute, all that. And now actually, if I don't talk, I don't make any money. The irony is ridiculous. So don't listen to what people say. That's my lesson.
I would like to hear a story from Kunal. I'm sure Kunal has a bunch
Kunal
of
actually
stories.
the
he's
talking
just an angry
gene,
man.
No, the talking gene has now gone straight into his daughter. She doesn't stop talking, man.
Oh, really?
She doesn't stop talking.
Really?
I see
I
them
love her dearly.
I see them driving in, but I see my daughter Maya driving in with Kunal in his big fancy foreign car, and Kunal's hands on his ears. So you can see from far, it's like a superhero, coming in with his, like he's had enough.
Yeah.
And she's still talking. She just completely ignores him.
Cyrus has learned how to switch off, but I have to listen to her and
yeah,
just talking
no choice.
continuously.
I can listen because of college. Since Xavier's college taught me we have 100 people in a class, really small class, and you have to just keep nodding at the right time so the teacher thinks you're interested in paying attention. I can do it really well. Take you to a marketing meeting, I can just nod through the whole thing. I won't know a word. It's amazing.
All right, next one we got is from Pratik Gupta. Why do you think the municipal corporations across all our cities are so much in favor of digging? Why can't they just finish all the pipes and wire laying in one shot? Pratik is preaching to the choir.
Yeah, and let me just explain. There's so many reasons. One, of course, is corruption. The longer the process takes, the more money you make. But then above all, the inefficiency, again, it comes back to the other question from some other show that we discussed, which is when you have the power to recall people, when you have the power to... It all works one way. While it works one way, people have a job, they just do it their way. But the moment there's a way to sort of, like you would in a typical job, have a board over you who's looking at you, looking at your work, things would change. So if we could inspect them and say, you've been given 3 months to lay cables and wires. If you haven't, then Mr. Joshi, here's the bad news. You are now going to be sent to Kulu Manali, where you will be working in an agrarian manner for the rest of your life and riding bareback horses bareback.
But if you just want to know about how bad we are,
Bareback horses bareback.
but if you
My
want to
producer
know
got aroused. Yeah.
how disgusting we are as a people, I have just driven from Tulsi Paib Road past Dadar. 1 day of rain because of this Ocha, whatever it's called.
Stop being mean to Ochi.
1 day of rain and the road is screwed.
Yeah.
1 day.
And it's not even our cyclone. It's not even... It's just passing through.
1 day of potholes.
These are visiting storms. It's not even really part of our culture.
It's terrible how the way that we deal with infrastructure.
But here's the sad part. People are so cynical. You get a question like that. And the fact is they know the answer.
Yeah.
They send you the question.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part. It's because you're resigned to our fate. I don't know what to do. Unless you get violent or get into elections.
MC.
Okay.
That's the end of the statement.
The question was in Pune, by the way. It's the PMC. Just by the way.
All right. Did you see... Okay, this is from Tarun. Did you see the Avengers Infinity War trailer? What do you prefer, DC or Marvel?
No, I have a problem. I have a guy called Mohit Mahale who produces our show the week that wasn't. And he, like an idiot, goes and shows me the trailer from start to finish and explains the movie to me. I don't watch anything anymore. In 4 minutes, I know everything. Who died? Should I give it away? Should I give Avengers away? You can't start telling me who died. Never tell me who died. If
I think all of them died this time, no?
No, you can't say that. People haven't watched the film. No, stop it. No. Talk about Apu and Simpsons. He didn't die. Apu didn't die, guys.
Are you a Marvel or a DC fan is the question.
It's a tough one because I grew up on DC a lot. You know, I'm an older generation than all of you. And so for me, Superman and Batman were huge. All right? Green Lantern. Stop talking. But the Green Lantern, huge. But then I think Stanley took over. So it's just much stronger. The Spider-Man, Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, much stronger in the media.
I would say comic books, DC over Marvel.
Yes,
Movies,
that's
Marvel.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
But you know, they've made Superman also dark. They've made all these guys dark. I don't know. The first 3 Superman film that came, that was ridiculously bad.
There's no need to make him dark.
Christopher Reeve. They were funny. Gene Hackman.
Everyone can have this pain, this anguish. This pain and anguish.
Yeah.
Man, if you can fly around the world in 2 seconds, why are you angry? Imagine, you're passing by Kala, everybody's stuck in traffic on JJ flyover. Forget it! Boom, I'm gone. Why are you angry? In fact, you'll be peeing on everyone. Hey, Raju, can you see me?
And they've pitted, what's his name? Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Bloody hell! Where did this come from?
Well, I mean, that was a comic book. This. I mean, but it's.
I think the best movies have been Spider-Man. Not all of them, but some of them. Spider-Man, they've done.
Did you see the new one, this year's Homecoming?
That was good.
That was good.
That was 500 rupees at Inox.
I liked the first Iron Man.
Yep.
I really
liked that.
No, that's Raju, the history wala.
No, but you should check out the new Spider-Man. That one was really good. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
What happens in the end, Kunal? Okay, stop it.
He dies.
He fell off the building.
All right. The next one this is from Lavanya.
Here we go again.
I'm not gonna try. Yeah, I can't remember what the Lavanya.
Lavanya. Huh, bolo.
From the 80s to the early 2000s, supermodels, VJs, etc. could command their own niche spaces, but soon celebrities and actors commanded mag covers, runways, and TV airtime. Example: Kim and Kanye on Vogue. What do you make of all of it?
Well, they all suck. The VJs suck for sure. The models suck. These reality stars, as you call them. What does that mean? The woman has a nice ass? That's what people actually write in and say, she's got a great ass. So, okay, that's good. That's fine. I mean, if
she had nothing to do with it.
I mean, it's like literally saying, if you look at it objectively, you just say, oh, he's got a good eyebrow. That's good enough for me. Eyebrow, king. So, I mean, we've reached the point where what can we say? It's not about achievement. You're not Edmund Hillary or Tenzing Norgay climbing Mount Everest. You're just whatever.
Yeah.
So-
I think the talent is how do you command social media?
No, and also for me,
That
frankly
is-
speaking, when I thought that I was on television for a little while, thinking that people are actually watching our MTV shows, I felt really bad. I realized that our society sucks. You cannot be looking at people like us. You just cannot. I had no interest in the work. I had no interest in the clothes. I had no interest in the medium. And yet we survived for 15 years. That's how mediocre the business is. It's ridiculously bad. I think, honestly, frankly, Kim Jong-un should run the country for a year and be allowed to shoot some of these celebrities just because he wants to. He'll be like, what? One more ad with this guy?
Yeah, like a massive reality show where people die every week.
Kind of like Survivor.
because
like
and
Real
not,
Survivor.
and Sharanya, not because they failed the task, but because Kim Jong-un doesn't like you. But what about my ass? He likes eyebrows only. Bang!
But did you see the progression of how the VJs changed? They started with American accents, then they got Hong Kong accents, then they got
Malabar accents.
Malabar accents, and
Hindi
now
accents.
they're going upun tupun.
Yeah.
It is. No, now
This is the
Are
way
they
we
VJs at
progressed.
all now?
now they're from
I
sector
don't- yeah,
sector
yeah,
145.
Yeah, there are other
Yaar, मैं भी-
obscure channels.
मेरे पास बजाज बाइक है बजाज.
Some ZZZZ music or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cine music. I think I
Cine-
see
They
that
have
every
VJs
day.
or what?
But I
Cine music is all
think the
over.
question is directed more American pop culture, and they've got a few people who make no sense whatsoever.
yeah.
No sense.
Well, actually, I think reality stars.
They've got a lot of celebrities.
Yeah,
Forget
no, but-
Kim Kardashian, who makes now a little sense
Yeah,
after
now
so
she
much
makes sense,
exposure.
yeah.
But some of the other sisters, they have 15 sisters. You guys don't know this. There are 15 sisters, there are 10 mothers,
They
one
slow-
father who is now a mother.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes on like that. Who are these people?
Yeah.
It's just why?
Yeah, they're celebrities that they were born and they have a TV show.
They're famous for being famous.
And then you're discussing them going to school or college or not going to school or
Yeah.
college or sitting on a couch. I mean, that's the story. What happened to Hamlet? Macbeth? All dead. It's all we got is this. And it's all Naveen's fault.
Voyeurism.
Can you name all the Kardashian sisters?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Jyotika. Because present government says they should be Hindu names or out. Shilpa. Suparna.
Mahima.
And then just because 1 out of 6, there's one Johnny.
All right. Please share your opinion. Hey, we got an NBA question. Please share your opinion on NBA in India. The NBA in India are advertising the matches and tournaments so dramatically, especially the Hindi hoardings on social media.
Yeah, Amit, this question has to go to Kunal, who loves sport and loves basketball.
All right.
And knows everything about that damn sport. Everything. Go on, Kunal.
What do you think of the Indianization of the NBA marketing plan?
on,
That's
Kunal.
the question from Prashant.
Where are they going to get tall black men from?
Not from India.
What is the point of playing this game then?
Racist. Wrong on many fronts, politically incorrect, and not even funny.
Heightist.
Heightist?
Heightist. We didn't get into heightist. Good point, Sharanya. We didn't even get into heightist. Tall. Okay, we have time for only one more question, so let's spin this quickly, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Here on the AMA section of a show called Cock and Bull.
Given the fact that you hate bikers, how would you feel if you visit the recent India Bike Week in Goa? This is from Dutt Pandit.
But Dutt Pandit bhai, it's not that I hate bikers per se. I hate bikers on the streets of Mumbai who are breaking things, and you're talking about bikers having good time. I mean, please do that. Go and have bike festivals and bike all night. I don't care. It's when you break the one way and try and scare all of us. Or on the pavement. The other day, the guy was on the pavement with the bike.
Or they overtake
and
you.
a man with his 2-year-old daughter was walking, and he hardly, I mean...
When you're at a signal and the guy comes in from the left, creeping in and breaks your side mirror, scratches your car.
And keeps going.
I know I sound like an elitist pig.
No, you don't. You sound like a rich man who's feeling pain.
Yeah.
And it's all because of demonetization.
There's
They
no
never get
bloody
off.
space between me and the pavement, and you're trying to gusa.
Yeah, why do they do the gusau thing? Physically, it's not possible.
It's
We can see
not.
the geography, there's 1 foot.
Yeah.
They still do it. Why do they do it? Because it's there. I'm a reality show artist. I'll do it. It's all roadies, I tell you. They
all
spoiled
roadies.
everything. Remove roadies from our culture.
It's empowered bikers to do whatever they want.
Yes, so please, if you're listening, MTV, remove roadies. Stop roadies. Roadies is causing India to disintegrate faster than 3 wars. So do it quickly.
All right.
But what is roadies going to do with bikes? I've never watched the show.
I haven't either.
Does it have something to do with
Talk to
bikes?
the sponsor, no?
Oh.
Hero Honda. They'll explain. No, now only Honda.
There is no Hero Honda.
No, there's heroes in the show, but there's Honda. Hero on a Honda. That's what it's all about. Okay, guys. Thank you, Amit, Sharanya, Kunal. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was called Cock and Bull. Look forward to your views the next time. Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. If you have any questions, write to us online, and you can mail us as well. We will answer. We have a doctor in the house called May.
And that's what Cyrus says.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Sorry to say, but there's been a slight delay due to the apocalypse having suddenly begun. As you can see, there's death, destruction, and chaos taking place all around us. But don't you worry, food and drinks will be served shortly, and I would recommend checking out
IVM Podcasts
to get some of your favorite Indian podcasts. We'll keep you going till this whole thing blows over. Thank you.